sorry about that. All right, next on our agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from Committee of the Whole meeting on February 26th, 2018. I trust that everyone has had time to read them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Mrs. Sabetta,
Second.
second by Mr. Balestrea. Are there any suggested changes, amendments, or deletions to these minutes? All in favor of the approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved as written. We will move to approve the minutes from our council meeting on February 26, 2018. Is there a motion to move by Mr. Balestrea, second by Mrs. Sabetta? Are there any changes to these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These minutes have been approved. Does any member at this time have any correspondence and announcements? Okay. Then we will move on to reports of the officers. First, starting with the mayor.
Thank you and good evening. I am pleased to report we are swearing in 4 new auxiliary police officers on March 13th. They are Amy and Dan Loprich, Paul James, and James McKenzie. The officers' duties will involve helping with traffic control, perform house watches, car lockout, patrolling the parks, and working city events. And the auxiliary police are an extra set of eyes for the community, and we are fortunate to have these men and women committed to the city. Also, I just wanted to say I'm happy to see that the Bridgeport development is moving forward. I noticed on the Architectural Board of Review agenda there have been 3 more houses submitted, so that's great news to see that development continue moving forward. I would like to share some information from the Cuyahoga County Department of Public Works 2017 annual report for the city. This report contains a detailed overview of the work completed within our city in the past year. The work within our city focuses on addressing infrastructure needs and meeting Ohio EPA goals for collection system operation and maintenance. Some of the information included in the report were the city of Mayfield Heights has 249,591 feet of sanitary sewers and approximately 1,099 manholes. The 2017 service program provided 96,125 feet of high-pressure jet cleaning, 643 calls for house service, television inspection of 92,000 feet of sanitary and sewer lines, 2,500 feet of service laterals and sewer sites were inspected, and there were 54 catch basins cleaned. As you can see, the county does provide a lot of services to our residents, so I just implore all residents, if you do have any problems with your sanitary or storm sewer, please call the sewer department and they can guide you in the right direction so you're sure you get the service you need. We recently shared on our website and social media outlets a brochure for First Energy's Ohio Utilities Public Assistance Programs. These were created for customers who are having difficulty paying their electric utility bills. Examples of some of the programs are the Percentage of Income Payment Plan, Home Energy Assistance Program, Summer Crisis Program, the Winter Crisis Program. So there are a lot of programs designed for people and residents who need help. So please review those programs. They are on our website, and you can also get some more information here at City Hall. And maybe you may know of someone who could use a little help this winter or summer. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any questions for the mayor? Okay. Director of Law, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to compliment council on its sense of timing. At the last meeting, council adopted an ordinance providing for a cremation service for indigent burials, and since that time I've had an inquiry, and we've utilized those services, so the timing couldn't have been better, and it worked out very well. So I very appreciate that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Are there any questions? Director of Finance, Mr. Tribby.
All of you would have received a packet this evening. It's the 2018 budget packet. And I would ask that the Finance Committee schedule a meeting to review the budget.
Okay.
And that's all I have to say.
Thank
At
you,
this
Mr.
point.
Tribby. Any questions for our Finance Director? And Susan, you'll make meeting, schedule a meeting.
So noted.
Okay, thank you. Moving to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. I'll start off with the Building Committee, which I am on. I am currently working with Lisa to set up a meeting to go over Ordinance 2017-10 regarding temporary containers. Hopefully, within the next few weeks, we can have this meeting and take this item off the table. Are there any questions for me? Finance and Audit, Mrs. Sabetta.
We have had no meeting and I have no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislative Committee, Mrs. Tressi.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We have had no meeting, so I have no report.
Public Works and Service, Mr. Balestrea.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. No report this evening.
Parks and Recreation, Mr. Manna.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Spring Summer Recreation Activity Guide was mailed home last week. The book has all recreational programs, activities, and special events for residents of all ages that the city puts on. If you did not get an activity guide, please call the Recreation Department and we will get one out to you. The Bunny Brunch will be Saturday, March 24th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. at the Dijon Community Center. Tickets are $7 per person. Pre-registration is required. Resident registration for day camp, swim lessons, and pool passes begins on Saturday, April 14th from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at the Dijon Community Center. Please visit the website at www.mayfieldheights.org for more details and watch your mail for the brochure coming soon. Pancake breakfast. Join Mayor DeSico and the City Council on Sunday, April 15th from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for all-you-can-eat pancakes, French toast, and sausage. Tickets can be purchased in advance from the mayor or any council member, Parks and Recreation Commission members, or City Hall. Pre-sale tickets are $5 per person, $6 at the door. Kids 6 and under eat free. More information, please call the Recreation Department at 442-2627. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mano. Are there any questions for Mr. Mano?
Ms. Snyder?
Mr.
Just a comment
Balestrea?
on the activity book. I went through it, and I just would like to commend Director Ward and his staff. It was a great job putting all that information together and getting it out. It was very easy to read and very well done, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Safety and Transportation, Mr. DeJohn.
Thank you, Madam President. I do not have a report this evening.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. DeJohn? Board of Zoning Appeals, Mrs. Sabetta.
There is a meeting scheduled for tomorrow here in council chambers at 7 p.m. There are 2 items on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Mr. Balestrea.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Planning Commission did meet on March the 5th. Council was copied on those minutes. 2 items were discussed. Muska Properties at 6262 to 6268 Mayfield Road was present, and they presented a final site plan. They made some revisions based on comments from our landscape architect and took those comments from the landscape architect into account. Some standards from our new design manual were also taken into account into the final design manual. There'll be a new dumpster enclosure, and the entire parking lot will be paved. And I don't know if they're going to present during the public portion this evening. I don't see them in the audience, but the site really did look really nice. And the second item that we had discussed, Fairchild Management Company came in just for a consultation regarding putting a self-storage facility within the city. people would be able to drive into this building. These are top-notch facilities, very aesthetically pleasing. They showed a number of examples of their buildings. Two sites are possible areas within the city. One site was primarily being discussed during the consultation, and rents would be on a month-to-month basis. And again, this was just merely for consultation purposes. You can review the minutes for the questions and comments that were made, and that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Ballister. Are there any questions? Mr. DeJong?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Balestria, that multi-tenant office building at 1413 Golden Gate Boulevard, is that where they're speaking about putting that storage facility? Is that correct?
That's one of the sites, yes.
Because I know they had come to us about behind Golden Gate, so are they no longer going behind?
And that's the second site. It's still a possibility for either site.
Okay. And
Primarily Golden Gate was what we had discussed.
so regarding that building, there's still not a wall up there? Are they planning on replacing that wall?
That was not discussed there. I can't answer you.
You know, the wall along the property line for the residents, separating the commercial facility from the residential area, so,
Not discussed.
thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Balestria? Okay, we're going to move to comments from the public. Pursuant to city code, each person will be allotted 5 minutes to speak, with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for the entire public portion. Although it is not a time for public debate, this is your opportunity to address council with your concerns. Please know that no personal attacks or comments will be allowed. Also, if you are here in connection with an agenda item, this is your opportunity to address council. If you would like to be heard this evening, please raise your hand and be recognized, then approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. It is now 7:30, and I will open up the public portion.
Mayor DeSico and council, thank you so much for letting me speak tonight. I'm Joan Gotchling. I'm the president of the Mayfield Township Historical Society, and I'm here to thank you for your donation to our organization. It continues to be a great help to us to keep our historical house open, which is the Bennett Van Kuren House. Also programming and to get those third graders in every spring when they tour from the Mayfield school system and St. Francis as they're doing their history unit. We also had a nice talk with the mayor about trying to get more residents involved in the Historical Society, because Mayfield Township includes Gates Mills, Highland Heights, Mayfield Heights, and Mayfield Village. And when people hear Mayfield Township, they think it's just Mayfield Village, and it's not true. We know we're all trying to pull from the same volunteer pool, but I know there are residents in Mayfield Heights that would like to come in and help us be a docent, or help us pull weeds, or be a researcher, or help us do inventory and be a curator. I know there are people out there, so what we're trying to do is work on some publication of our meetings in your recreation booklet, or just getting some more information out about our meeting times. Also, I hear you're having a lot of different meetings, you know, recreation, whatever. We invite you to have one of your meetings off-site at our house. We'll even give you cookies and coffee and tea and some snacks, and you can have a tour of the house and take a look at it too, get more people in. And also, as Mr. Alamuli, our past president, said, when the Browns are losing this fall, or the Indians are on a losing streak and you don't have anything to do on a Saturday, Sunday, give us a call. We'll come down and open up the house and give you a tour. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. We appreciate all that you do. Is there anybody else that would like to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Mark Silverstein. I live at 2205 Lander Haven Court. You may recall that I spoke during the public portion of the February 26th council meeting regarding the CA Senior Living LLC's proposed development at 6200 Lander Haven Drive. That proposed development is the subject of 6 resolutions relating to variances that are on second reading tonight, namely resolutions numbers 2018-6 through 2018-11. I did want to note, I looked at the minutes from council from last time that reported on the comments that I had made. Very nice job of reporting them. The one correction that I would have made is that actually it says Mr. Silverstein was here on behalf of the association and on behalf of himself. I actually stated I was not here on behalf of the association, but I was only here on behalf of myself. So I just wanted to make that very clear. But since the last meeting, I've had some conversations with some neighbors, some of whom are here tonight, as well as some conversation with Councilwoman Sabetta, who, as you know, sits on the Board of Zoning Appeals that considered the variances, and Councilman Balestrea, who sits on the Planning Commission. My intention tonight is not to repeat everything that I said back on February 26th, but I do want to make a few further comments regarding the variances and the proposed resolutions. First, I wanted to specifically draw your attention to section 1155.05 of the code, which governs variances. Under 1155.05A, variances are reserved for situations where there are practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships and that are inherent in the land. I'm not here to debate any aspect of that tonight. Rather, I want to focus on section 1155.05B, which states that in granting variances, the city, quote, may designate conditions in connection therewith as will protect, as far as is reasonable, the attractiveness and value of adjoining property or health